Welcome to the Show, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything. I'm Brady.
And I'm Katie.
And today's episode, we're going to talk about food.
Yummy. And by food, we mean everyone's favorite food, Soylent Green.
I prefer Soylent Blue, but to each their own.
I refuse to eat my Soylent with food dyes in it.
GMOs.
And on that note, it's time for I Digress.
So food.
Food.
I think we just finished eating what?
It was chili cheese dip because I had it left over from the other night when I was too tired to cook and I threw it together. And we're in the 1%er trailer and I thought, hey, what should we talk about? And you're all, let's talk about food. And now we're gonna talk about our favorite thing ever. Love food.
I think with my stomach a little bit more than I want to admit, but
yeah. Me both.
So that's what you guys are listening to. We're talking about food. So I hope you guys aren't too hungry.
If you are, go get some chili cheese dip because that was pretty good.
So, what's your favorite food, Katie? Maybe not your favorite dish. It doesn't have to be your favorite dish. It could be your favorite type of food or whatever.
To be honest, okay, I absolutely adore Asian food. My favorite food is pizza, though. I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, I know a lot of people say that, but pizza truly is my favorite food. I probably eat it at least 2 nights a week.
If you have to know my opinion, and guess what, you're going to know it anyway because I have a microphone.
Okay.
Pizza's like the perfect food. It really is.
It's the perfect food.
It has everything. It has every food group.
And you can
maybe not fruit. I don't think I've ever had fruit. Pineapple pizza is fruit pizza, right?
Well, I've had a fruit pizza with a graham cracker crust and marshmallow, cream cheese topping, like sauce, and then they put fruit on the top of it. You can do anything. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, have you ever had the dessert pizzas? I think it's like Pizza Hut or Domino's or something. They probably have both done it, but
yeah,
it's like a sweet, almost like a cinnamon crust, and they have like chocolate and marshmallow. I don't know.
I love that we're talking about pizza. Like, no food discussion is complete without an homage to the greatest food ever invented.
And I don't know how many of you guys have ever had Lunchables pizza. That's one of my favorite pizzas.
Seriously. Oh, when I was a kid in Alaska, okay, this is an Alaska thing. I didn't know this, but I used to have to get on a jet and fly to a different island for volleyball and basketball games, and our McDonald's in Alaska had pizza on their value meal. And it was the greatest pizza. Like, Totino's party pizzas?
Yeah.
It was like those, but you could get it at McDonald's for $5 for a value meal.
Holy moly.
I kid you not. And I always wondered, do they have pizza? Because the Lunchables pizza also reminds me of that. There's just something magical about it. And I know it's not real good food for you or whatever, but it's is it a nostalgic thing?
I would love some McPizza.
McPizza was incredible. In fact, I should look that up at some point because I could never find it anywhere else but Alaska. Was it an Alaska only thing?
I don't know. I've never heard of it, so it could be.
It was.
McDonald's is typically different in different regions.
Well, that's right, because in Hawaii they had Portuguese sausage and Spam on their menu at McDonald's, and you'll never find that.
That's interesting, but
yeah,
okay. I guess whatever's popular in the region, they got to go for it, right?
So, what's McDonald's in Laos have?
I'm not from Laos. I wish I knew.
Now I need to know.
Some sort of probably Laotian food, but it's not just McDonald's either. Because my friend Russ was telling me where he's from, up in Ohio.
Okay.
Even KFC is a lot different. They just serve it's just different types of chicken.
Really?
Yeah. And he also told me in Japan, maybe it was a different friend. I have a different friend I was working with, and he told me he's been to Japan, and it's like a sit-down restaurant there. They have KFCs, but they sit down and eat the chicken. I could be completely wrong, guys. Please correct me if I am wrong, but this is just what I've heard, But it's a sit-down restaurant to go and eat some fried chicken.
Well,
obviously, that's not they're in America. That's just one of those normal kind of foods you would eat for dinner.
Yeah, but not there.
But Japanese
is it
food
fine dining?
Yes, to them it's like fine dining. They go in and it's like going into a I don't want to say a Denny. It's probably, I would imagine it. The way I imagine it is going into a Denny's.
Or cheese. What
so
is that place?
It's not exactly like a 5-star restaurant, but you go in and you sit down and there's a waiter and stuff. But I don't know. I had never been there. This is just anecdote. So that's just how I picture it. But it's a sit down restaurant and it's KFC. Whereas to here it's like a fucking drive-through or a buffet. So it's just different everywhere.
Well, and I try to think, I remember as a kid, because KFC doesn't taste like it used to when I was little, the extra crispy, something happened there, and then, I'm going to say the late 90s, early 2000s, where things went on such a massive scale that stuff tastes different there. Because I remember when I was little, my dad liked the barbecue and the extra crispy, and he'd get a bucket of it, and there was so much crunch on those chickens, the coating, it would be like a chicken coating massacre. You grab it out of the bucket, and it would just, explode on you. And I don't really see that now.
I remember that. Well, Popeyes is still like that, by the way.
Is it?
if you guys have never had Popeye's chicken,
It's pretty good.
you need to go on a trip
pretty good.
and find a Popeye's and have it. And it's different everywhere too, but like it's that the crispy outside of it just falls off or melts in your mouth whenever you eat it.
I just want a basket of the coating. Have you ever thought of that? In fact, when I fry my own chicken, I take the piece, like, okay, when you fry chicken
genius.
from scratch yourself, I make like this egg, buttermilk, garlic powder, paprika sort of wash, and then I make a panko flour mixture too, and then I double dip it, and at the end you have this coating of, it's almost like you're mummifying yourself in the coating on your hands, and I scrape that off there and fry that, and then I eat that.
That sounds so
because
good.
it's just the coating. And
yeah, where's our chicken chips around here? you
chicken
guys?
chips, coating chips.
Come on.
and
We got chicken and waffle flavored Lay's.
Can we just have the coating?
Just give us chicken coating, fried chicken. God, that's not healthy at all.
It would be so economical though, because you don't even have to have the expensive part. It's the meat. It's like
right.
Isn't that what hush puppies or cracklins and stuff like that though?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like those are the best part. And you talked about regions in Canada. I remember being a little kid. We used to drive through Canada to Alaska all the time, and we went into KFC. And my mom's favorite thing about KFC was mashed potatoes and gravy. And we walk up, and Mom's like, "Can I get whatever chicken and then an order of mashed potatoes and gravy?" And they looked at my mom like she was an alien. And they're like, "Well, no, but we can give you some gravy with your fries." And that
They
became...
have fries at the fucking KFC?
And they don't have mashed potatoes. They only serve fries and gravy.
Weird.
And
But that
so-
fries and gravy is kind of a thing up there in Canada.
Well,
if you
that's
don't know,
where poutine... Yeah.
Poutine.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Have you ever had poutine?
I drove through Canada, apparently. Like, I like to dip my fries in malt vinegar, because in Canada, that's a thing, too.
Yeah, all dressed up, they call it.
Yeah, I really like malt vinegar on my fries. And in
Man.
Montana, that's there a lot, too. See, food. We're talking about
For
food.
all of you guys that don't know, Canada is just notorious for, like, exceedingly amazing food.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been there personally. Just from what I've heard, it's just amazing food all over the place.
You want the best.
But I have had poutine, and I have had, all dressed up fries.
Poutine.
Or chips, as they would call it, I would imagine.
They're very... Oh, dressed up chips. My favorite meal of all time was in Canada in a little log restaurant in the middle of the freaking Yukon, and there was a French chef in there, and what that man did with carrots has never been replicated in my life. And we're just talking about, he like crinkle cut them and sauteed them in some sort of weird garlic butter reduction, and he served it with a freaking chicken sandwich. And the carrots, I'll never forget them. And I was like, what? And then Indian food, the best Indian food of my life, I had in a steel pole building in the middle of a field south of Calgary.
Weird.
And I met the coolest man from, I think he was from Bangladesh. Dude he became family. We have a picture of John. I'm pretty sure that's not his name. But he and Tom hit it off real good. And he made me, Indian carrot cake. And it was like somebody had chewed it up and put it around the thing. And then he made like a saffron reduction and sprinkled over it. And this is in a building in a field.
That sounds awesome.
The dude was amazing. I love Indian food. I just like all
I don't
food.
think I've ever had Indian food.
We're going to have to rectify this because you need Korean.
Yeah, we started out, what's your favorite food? And all of a sudden it's like, everything's my favorite food. It's all good.
I love Greek food too. I just had a gyro last week. And
Man.
I love Greek food.
If you're ever in Spokane, Washington, shout out to Azar's Greek restaurant. I don't know if they're still around because I haven't been in Spokane in a while, but I'm pretty sure they are.
You know they're doing drive-through fair food, Azar's is, and they're doing...
Azar's is?
And they're doing deep-fried pizza. What do you think of this? Like, pizza's already amazing. I don't know if I want to eat a deep-fried pizza.
Can pizza possibly get any better? Deep-fried sounds pretty good.
It sort of terrifies me, but intrigues
Is that
me.
like a calzone, or do you just take a piece of pizza and just deep fry?
Or is it a little round
work?
one and they dip it in corn dog batter and throw it in? Like, how... We need to figure... Oh, they're going to do it
because they have pizza sticks, and those are already deep-fried.
Well, the Spokane Fair is obviously canceled this year, but they're doing the world's largest drive-through fair food, and Azar's is there with it, but it's $13. Like, how big is this thing? Does it? I don't know if I want to pay $13 for something I might not like. But then I'll try it. I try anything. I've ate a lot of stuff in my lifetime.
Heck yeah. So I want to know. So since we're on the subject of different restaurants and stuff,
okay,
and different types of food, like I haven't really been out of the country, so I need to know.
You need to know.
We have a very diverse, we just have a very diverse country as far as cultures go. Like, it's a big mixing pot, right?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden we have like Chinese restaurants and Mexican restaurants, and Taco Bell is its own subject, and
Taco Bell. It's its own
and we have
food
Italian.
group.
Yeah, we have Italian restaurants. We have Greek and Indian food. We have one of my favorites, Mediterranean restaurants are amazing. So we just have all these different types of restaurants. does any other country just have specific American restaurants, or is American food just mixed other cultures' foods together?
What movie was it where they were making fun of Americans because they're at this fine French restaurant and the one lady's like, y'all got any ranch? That would be our restaurant, right?
What is that movie? I gotta remember. But
I can't remember.
I want to know, like, does other countries have American restaurants?
Well, to be fair,
other than McDonald's, let's not count fast food.
what we think is Chinese food is not. It's American. What is it? It's Chinese food with an American twist.
Yeah.
Because they don't. I love real Chinese food. You're talking broths and stir fry, and it's actually just amazing. And then us, it's like, we're American. Let's coat it and stuff and put sugar on it. Like,
yeah, that's like the difference between like Panda Express and like Xing Bao's down the street or whatever.
Yeah, I like real Chinese food, and Thai food's superior. You talking about though? Yeah, is there an American restaurant? We need to know this.
I've always been curious.
Like, what would our food is a conglomeration of all other foods.
So, if anybody from a different country is ever listening to this episode, please give us an email, links in the description, go on our social media, somebody.
Yes,
tell me,
us.
is there just straight up American food because like what is American food exactly? Cheeseburgers? Like that's technically German, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
hamburger?
I feel like we took all like pizza is what we consider as pizza is very American compared to what it originally was. So it's like
like I heard this. I actually met an Italian guy, and he was saying our pizza sucks. And he was telling me about the pizzas that they have in Italy.
Yeah, it's different.
And it's like, oh man, this sounds so much better, but it sounds healthier too.
Well, I made the other day with my friend. Every year we have an outdoor pizza oven here at my house, and every 4th of July up until this 4th of July, because it got too big, we did pizza 4th of July, and we made. I made some homemade fermented dough, and then we spread olive oil, crushed garlic on it, put prosciutto and arugula, and a little bit of provolone, and we put that in the oven.
That sounds great.
It was legendary because it's going in a 500-degree oven for like a couple minutes. It crisps it right up, and so there is a huge, vast difference between pizza regionally in Italy versus even pizza in America, because you got Chicago, it's deep dish, and then you have the New York pizza you fold and you could beat someone to death with it. And then back here in America, in rural America, people are like pizza gut, so and that pizza is so heavy, and now there's like this new culture of hipster food culture. And so you have we have a new wood fireplace. What would vegan? I've had vegan cheese. Now? What is it? The dairy-free cheese, because we have a friend, a mutual friend that cannot have dairy. Yeah. And I'm sorry, I hate dairy-free cheese. They have not mastered the textural thing yet.
It doesn't make sense.
I understand why.
Why even bother?
Because cheese is amazing. And you need to be.
This is gonna go down a whole other path than what we were talking about. But like,
I like paths.
I've never understand, and I'm not trying to insult vegans or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but I don't understand like the whole trying to mimic meat thing. Really? You know what I mean? But it's not meat, so it's like, why even bother? Just whatever it's made of, just make the food out of that and just be good with that.
I love
it's not meat, then it's not meat. Then why try to make this whole those like the Burger King?
Oh yeah, the Impossible Burger that's got so much estrogen in it, it'll make you grow titties.
Oh god, yeah, and it's like extremely unhealthy for you. But everybody's like, but it's a vegan, so it's healthy.
Well,
but it's not. But it's because it's pure fats and oils, and it's made into this meat-like texture, which is completely just gross to me. I don't understand it. Why even try to bother making a hamburger if it's not made out of meat?
Well, and ethically, I understand the ethical point of veganism, but why not just eat a portobello mushroom?
I understand veganism. I just don't understand trying to mimic meat. It doesn't make sense. Why even do it in the first place? Like,
I don't understand. Well, I don't know.
Are you trying to convert people?
Maybe.
And that's like the closest thing to be. At the same time, still like, come on, like. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's all. I don't know.
Well, one of my favorite things in the whole world is a marinated portobello mushroom burger. I just like it for the sake of it just tastes good.
Yeah.
Because disclaimer, I'm a huge carnivore, but I also grow pretty much all of my own meat because I don't like eating public meat because there's some ethical issues there for me.
You should see the horrible conditions they put their animals through.
It's terrible. They get out, my animals do, and they come to the house and talk to me. So I can't get rid of them.
They beat their animals constantly.
That's true.
There's like 3,000 of them in a 10-foot area.
Yeah, there's not just two cows on 20 acres. Like my pigs are currently getting drunk on apples and homemade milk. So
I'm obviously joking. I totally wish there was a way for even like people in the most densely populated like metropolis areas to just have a cow. Because that's a lot you can have a year's worth of meat just from one cow, pretty much. If you're just a small family.
And we don't eat meat every night.
I wish there was a way for everybody to have their own livestock. We could avoid factory farming if we could all just have like a chicken and a cow somehow. I mean, obviously, that's not going to work with big cities and stuff. Not everybody has a yard, so people are in apartments. But like, in my utopian dream, that's how it would be. That would be nice.
You'd be surprised what you can do.
Because that would solve a lot of problems.
Because I take care of just not even, I don't do it for making a living. I do it just to raise my own meat because I really don't like the way animals are treated in an industrial thing. And that's just me personally. I also know that the industrial thing feeds the world. But still, that's my own thing. I have the space, the resources, and the ability. I've worked really hard for it. And I not only do I provide meat for my family, but a few other families for the year, just without hurting my landscape. It can be done, people, if you put some thought into it. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. In my utopian dreams, it would be, I would love to not even, we were talking about 3D printed meat earlier, mm-hmm. and there's all of these, like, thoughts to have about that. It's like, is your body going to synthesize it the same? I know that meat is just basically chains of amino acids, but there's, stimulated by electrical impulses, but it's like, are you going to digest it the same? Are you going to derive the bionutrients from it you need? There's a lot of considerations.
Exactly, like, is the bioavailability the same as, like, meat that was, organically, like, meat that was an animal that was alive out in the field, compared to this stuff you make in a lab? Is your body going to process it the exact same way? Is it still going to be nutritious? Like, how does that work?
I don't even know. And all life causes death to some degree, right? And that kind of bypasses it, but then does it because you're still going to have to generate power, you're still going to have to get nutrients to feed this lab meat. There's like this...
it's still going to cost money. It still takes resources to make... No matter what, you can't make something from nothing.
All life
so you either have to grow the food as animals and process it one way or the other, or, you got to have whatever it costs to run a laboratory to make the meat, or even just a factory. I guess it's still going to be factory made if we can 3D print, because it's still going to be. You're going to have to.
Still going to have
the way capitalism works is like, how many is it possible to produce in a factory?
The price to make it has come down exponentially.
If we can make 3,000 packaged chickens in an hour, we're going to do it. Like, that's just how it works.
Well, and I personally know some vegan people, and like my favorite cookie of all time is a vegan cookie. I mean,
I'm not... I wasn't trying to earlier say anything bad about vegan food. I just don't understand the meat mimic stuff. But, like, there's nothing wrong with eating healthier vegetable kind of foods and stuff. Like, my thing is, like, obviously, there might be issues getting certain nutrients that are only found in meats.
I massacred a bunch of plants I grew this morning. I have no problem with eating plant-based foods. So, I don't know.
Nothing wrong with veganism. That's your choice, Yummy, I guess. Some of the stuff I don't like, personally, but...
I like bacon.
If that's the way you choose to live your life, right on. And
you just
some of that food is pretty delicious. I'm not gonna lie.
You just don't understand the mimicking of the vegetables. Meat thing.
I just don't understand it's like, that's just kind of weird to me. That's all. It's like, it's either meat or it's not. Why do you have to fake it? It doesn't make sense. But you know what? Whatever.
Well,
if people want to buy it and they want to eat it, that's fine. It is their choice. I'm not judging anybody.
That.
I just don't understand the idea. That's all.
Well, that's interesting, because there are nights that I just like to douse some broccoli and some olive oil, butter, and garlic, and roast the hell out of it and eat it. Like, yes, your broccoli. Broccoli.
So everybody knows, like, it's not always easy to get kids to eat broccoli, right? Well, I kind of just, like, free-formed this recipe of broccoli, and I don't even measure anything out. That's just how I cook. But I just I cut up the broccoli, put it in a bowl, and I throw a bunch of olive oil on it to get it nice and coated.
Sounding good.
And then I just, however much salt seems right, not too much, not too little, and then some cracked pepper. And then I go a little off the rails here with this, is I put a bunch of, like, as much garlic as I possibly can without it, like, being pure garlic.
No.
But that's just my preference.
And then a little more.
And then a little more, of course. About a tablespoon over too much.
You could never put too much garlic.
But then and then lots of lemon and lime juice. A little bit of lime, not as much lime as the lemon juice. I kind of eyeball the ratio. It's not an exact science, come on. But lots of lemon and lime juice, and then Parmesan cheese. I didn't have Parmesan last night, so I used just some cheddar.
Still good.
Shredded cheddar. Still pretty good. It doesn't matter. The Parmesan is amazing, though. And then then you just bake it in the oven, 375 for, I think it's 20 minutes. Usually turns out pretty good.
That is
but the combination of, like, the lemon and lime juice on the broccoli with the garlic, something about that is just amazing. And my daughter freaking eats it up and loves it, and it's not very unhealthy.
No.
I mean, olive oil, as long as you in moderation, it's not that bad. It doesn't really take away from the nutritiousness of the broccoli, in my opinion.
Oh, your brain needs fats.
Yeah.
And so olive oil is one of the best ones.
Yeah. And so it's a pretty healthy little side dish, but, like, kids will definitely eat it as long as, they're okay with sour food. Some kids probably won't like it. It's not for everybody, but I freaking love it. And my daughter eats it right up, and she's pretty picky about her veggies, man.
Well, speaking of picky, you talked about favorite foods, because we didn't get to yours, but what is your least favorite food?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you too. Like,
I gotta think about it.
I'm not that picky of an eater, to be honest. I just don't like mayonnaise or things with mayonnaise in it necessarily. I don't know why.
Is it textural? Like, how can you...
I don't know, because I like pudding.
And that's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's not exactly textural or anything. What it is like it's the smell.
We could sweeten the mayonnaise and you'll eat it.
I like the individual ingredients on their own. I love eggs. I love oil and vinegar. I eat salt and vinegar chips all the time.
That's so weird. Is it
But
the
it's
smell?
it's a mental thing, I think. Almost a food phobia for me because okay, so when I was really little, maybe 8 or 9,
Okay.
we had lice going around school, and I had it.
Oh God, the hair.
The head lice, and
hair.
my grandma, for whatever reason, decided to put like a jar of mayonnaise in my hair to kill the lice, and it might have been that.
That's probably it. So
But I kind of remember not liking it before then, though, because like I had it on a bologna sandwich and just hate it. I don't know what it is about mayonnaise. I just don't like it. But also, I don't like ranch dressing. It smells horrible. It makes me gag every time I smell it. I don't like Caesar dressing, which is like mayonnaise with anchovy paste.
Can you be American and not like ranch dressing?
It's such a divisive thing.
Wow,
when I tell people
like
I don't like
pineapple on
mayonnaise.
pizza.
Yeah. By the way, I like pineapple on pizza.
It's not my.
And I'm not the only one that doesn't like mayo. Like it's kind of a big
I've
thing.
met people.
Not a lot of people like mayo, but like to me, it's just disgusting. I don't like. I gag when I smell it. It's so gross. But so many people love it, and people in America. I don't know if this is like this the rest of the world. I'm sure it is somewhere, but like, just like you were joking about earlier, like, can I get some ranch on that? Like,
they drown their food
gallons
in
of
it.
ranch. I remember in elementary school, people would get, or not elementary school, high school, people would get the high school pizza for lunch. We were ordering from like an actual fast food pizza joint for the kids. It was so everybody got it because nobody wanted school food because we're getting freaking Papa John's.
Exactly.
And so, but people would like get these little tubs to completely drenched, or like completely toppling full of ranch. And, like, there was almost no pizza to the ranch ratio.
It was like a 1-to-1.
And I would get so disgusted. And the whole fucking cafeteria smelled like ranch dressing and everything.
Oh, then your
I hated it. I never ate in there
maybe
for that reason.
Well, I'm just sort
It was
of...
so gross to me, the smell of ranch dressing. I
I've
don't know
went
what
out
it
to-
is.
I've went
I
out
like
to eat
ranch
with-
flavored things.
You just don't like the dressing?
The dressing just disgusting to me.
I've went out to eat with friends, and I've literally watched them. It didn't matter what they ordered. They would order just plates full, little bowls full of ranch, and just drown their food in it. Or like salad. They'd put so much ranch on it that you couldn't even distinguish
it's
what
not
was...
healthy at that point.
Well, and I just look at it and I'm like,
clog your
can it
arteries.
taste good, though?
Not to me, but that's my opinion. If they like it, they like it. That's what it is.
Well, I mean, I don't care how you eat your food. If
I
you
saw
eat
that.
your
We're at Golden Krauts and all-you-can-eat buffet, and there's a salad bar. Awesome, healthy
Golden Corral.
alternative to the whatever the hell the food is made of there. It's cheap.
Unless you put a gallon of ranch on it.
People will go up there and just like empty the tub of ranch onto their freaking salad, and it's like, is that a salad anymore, or is that like dressing with a side of lettuce?
What's that say about American palates or American taste buds or American cooking, though? Because I know there's a French person out there that's thinking that we are inferior species. Because honest, I've had some French food like tarte tatin, or they'll roast chickens and let the fat drip down on the potatoes while they're roasting. Their food is legitimately...
I've never had French food.
It's
Authentic
so
French.
good.
Only... I don't think you can count French fries.
No, the
right?
pomme de frite is
Why is that
not
even
the
called
same.
French fries?
Well, and they do have
the
it
technique?
fried, sliced and fried. And I've read that, like, I've cooked fries the French way, supposedly, is you put it in cold oil and bring it up, and it makes them more crispy.
Oh.
Like, you
That's
know how we're
interesting.
told to throw things in hot oil?
Yeah.
You know, to make it... Well, there's a French method that you put it in there. I read about this one time in, like, Gourmet or Bon Appetit or something.
Cold oil?
You put it right in the cold oil, and then you turn it on and cook it. And it did make some amazing French fries, because I just dug the potatoes out of my garden and did it.
The crispier, the better to me, man.
Oh, I love crispy French fries.
gotta
And
be
I
crispy.
like food with seasoning. I grew up, my dad did not like onions, and he only liked salt and pepper and Heinz ketchup. So I grew
There's
up...
these aliens out there, and I'm
That's-
sorry to
yeah,
insult
no.
people, but screw it. There's these aliens out there that don't like seasoning their food.
I
It's
always
like,
thought my dad was an alien anyway.
I mean,
so
yeah,
I love you, Dad.
for the most part, food
Don't
tastes okay.
don't hurt my brain.
I don't mind the taste of food on its own, but it's so much better to season it. It's the 21st century.
Well,
I mean, the fact that we can add flavor to our food, why not? There's
Well,
no shame in
packaged
that, is
food
there?
people think seasoning is adding a shit ton of sugar and salt. When I'm talking about herbs,
I mean, you can.
I love herbs, though.
Yeah,
like,
herbs
there's
and
so many
spices.
good things. Like, I went to Hatch. I was stuck in Hatch, New Mexico, and so I just wandered around the town because my truck was broke, and I met this really cool family who grew their own peppers, and they gave me the peppers, seasonings from where they are grown versus the crap you buy in the store. Mind-blowing flavor differences.
Oh,
She
yeah.
gave me some smoked chipotle that they had, and I know you hate mayonnaise, but making your homemade aioli, which is a fancy word for mayonnaise,
Yeah, fancy mayonnaise. Yeah.
fancy mayonnaise, because you like oil and eggs. The texture is different, and it doesn't smell like...
I'll still probably never try
You
it.
probably-
Again, it's kind of like a phobia for
But
me.
I used to make a garlic chipotle aioli and I turn it into a fry sauce, which you probably don't like fry sauce
Nah.
because you don't like mayonnaise. But
to
anyways,
each
there's a
their
flavor.
own.
The flavor is so good.
Each their own.
I don't have a food I hate, Brady. I've never eaten anything.
You're a rare species then, because most people are picky about fucking something.
I'm not, and I don't know if it's because of my Alaskan upbringing, where I was eating weird things like raw herring roe and stuff.
You know what's weird though is even being picky at all, and that I guarantee that's mostly an American thing.
It was mainly, I think I'm anti-picky because of my father. Because when I didn't get to eat Chinese food until I was almost an adult.
Yeah.
I think I was an adult, and I was so angry. I had not eaten a green onion until I was 18. I have made up for it since then. Because they're like one of my favorite things.
They're so good.
And I'd never eaten one. I'd never eaten chow mein until I was 18.
Every time I chop green onions, I'm snacking on them like crazy.
Well, and like you talked about limes, I went to Mexico and they give you limes with everything, and they taste better than.
What is it about lime juice? It makes so much. Many foods taste better.
I put limes on my eggs.
Every cooked meat, I put a little bit of lime juice on because I don't know what it is about it. It tastes so good.
Citrus just makes everything better.
It's the contrast of like umami, the cooked meat flavor, to the sour, like citrus, like acidy. I don't know what it is. It's so amazing. Ceviche is one of my favorite foods on the planet.
I love ceviche.
Because I love that sour, tangy taste.
Have you ever had poke? Which is the Hawaii version.
Maybe I have. I don't know. Maybe.
Well, it's the Hawaiian version of it's just raw fish, but they put green
cooked
onions.
in acids.
Yeah, and they put green onion in with theirs.
Oh yeah.
So it's like raw salmon with green onion, and you got some shoyu in there. It's so good, but I only eat that stuff on the ocean.
See, that sounds great. Well, yeah. Anytime you're gonna deal with fish,
I don't want. Yeah, people eat.
It's absolutely better to get it as close to the ocean as possible.
We live like 10 hours from the ocean, and people are like sushi, and I'm all no. I want to be right.
I've had sushi over in Spokane, and that's still like 5 hours from.
Which technically Seattle. You could get it out of the water there.
Some of that fish they don't get in Seattle, even though that's like some of the sushi restaurants they're having like we don't get sharks over here, but they're serving shark meat. And I'm like, where did that come from?
Well, and I grew up.
How long was that in a freezer for?
If I wanted a salmon, okay, this is so funny, but like when I was a kid, our baseball park was on an island, and so if I wanted to eat some crab, I'd ride my bike over to the baseball park. Good. Tide would be out. I'd kick a rock open, grab a 4-pound dungy, and throw it in a pot boiling on water over right at the beach. And so this ruined me because people get excited about seafood. It is gross here. I'm sorry. Most of it's been frozen. Even the freshest of the fresh is still out of the water a lot longer than
you never know how, like, okay, so with the frozen fish, it's like you never know how long it was out before it was frozen.
You can usually smell it.
You never know, like, okay, so it has to be put on a refrigerated truck. How do you know that the refrigeration didn't go out on the journey? And, like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. There's so many variables that could make the fish go wrong.
And I refuse to pay $12 a pound for a salmon that I used to kick out on the bank. And I'm not exaggerating. I could walk into the water and kick one out.
Well, what is it about freezing food, especially fish?
It changes the texture.
Is it like...
It makes it chew. It's still good. I mean, I still like fish. Like, if somebody serves me salmon, I'm going to eat it. But the texture is different. Yeah. Like shrimp. A shrimp that has been frozen is a rubbery mess compared to a shrimp that you just grab out of the water. I've
never had... No, wait, maybe I have. No, I don't think so. Have you had fresh shrimp? I don't think I've ever had shrimp like from that local source of ocean before. So, the only time I ever really went to the ocean, it was like Oregon coast or like Seattle.
I have a funny story.
And that doesn't really count because like I didn't eat any fish there. So
well, we used to get.
It's not even a commercial fishing like area. It's like that's a
touristy place.
The Pacific Ocean isn't really the biggest fishing
anymore. Well,
at least in the Pacific Northwest side of the country. Yeah, Seattle has their fish market and everything. I never ate fish while I was there, but like as you go further south, all the way until maybe the California area, it's not exactly like a commercial fishing zone.
No, they've got
up in Alaska it definitely is.
And even that's not the same.
Yeah, but down towards the southern areas of the Pacific Ocean coast, it's just not, for whatever reason, maybe it's the fish, I don't know, it's not very commercially fished.
Well, and that's like the shrimp. We used to get he had a friend named John. We used to call him Hey Buddy. And Hey Buddy would get us huge gallon bags of... And when I say shrimp, these are prawns. They are huge. They're like the gigantic ones. And it'd be like $20 for this huge 5-pound bag of shrimp, right? And so he came in, and one time he tripped because he was usually inebriated, and he fell in the door and blew the shrimp all over our floor.
Oh, no.
And he just starts scooping them up. He's like, Ron, no one needs to know these shrimp are carpet burned. So this guy was... He was special.
5-minute rule.
Yeah, 5-minute rule, and they weren't. But yeah, shrimp, they are so beautiful. I love seafood, but honestly, I don't get to eat the amount of it I used to.
I know.
I was down in San Diego.
I wish we had a good source of local seafood here.
Well, I've heard there's one place, but once again, it's the money aspect.
Okay, Elon Musk, you build tunnels, Mr. Tunnel Guy. Okay? Build us some tunnels straight from the ocean to the inland of, like, the United States. that lets fresh fish in.
Oh, there is a place though in Plummer.
Let's do it.
Down in Plummer, there's this Cowboy Fish Company or whatever, and they have huge pools, and they raise shrimp right down here.
Oh, cool.
You can buy, but they're like $18 a pound.
That's interesting.
Because it's locally grown.
I guess you can do that.
You can do pools.
I just want to see Elon build a big tunnel.
I kind of dig the tunnel.
Just because why not? You can. I just thought of it. I thought it was a good idea. Why not?
But then we have.
If I had a tunnel company, I would try it.
You just build a tunnel.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of problems it'll cause, but you know what? Hey.
Well, I mean geology.
Oops, sorry, California. We broke you off into the ocean and trying to dig a tunnel. So hey, you guys remember the California coast?
It's
before it was above Beverly Hills.
It's fine. It's fine. It's just a what is it? It's a flesh wound. It's gonna be okay.
Flesh wound.
It's a flesh wound. Well, I was thinking about food I hate. Now I don't know what I hate. I like pretty much all food.
I do too, as long as it doesn't contain mayonnaise. I don't know. I'm really stickler about that. I'm sure I've eaten some sauces that had mayonnaise and just didn't think about it. But like for instance, Taco Bell's what is that? Their creamy jalapeno sauce. I know for a fact that has mayonnaise in it, but I'll eat it. It's so masked by other spices and stuff that it doesn't even... and it's so mixed in with the food. But for the most part, I don't even like potato salad or anything like that. I have had potato salad made with sour cream. It's not... I don't know. It's not that good. I don't see the hype.
You don't see that?
I don't see the hype.
Well, once again...
That's an American food for sure, isn't it? Potato salad?
Well, its origins are German, Pennsylvania, Dutch. I mean,
I'm on the quest to find the true American food. What is it? Pot roast? Like, what is it?
Well,
fried chicken? Is that American fried chicken?
I honestly think we took all food and then just made it our own. I think
we're such a new country anyway. It would make sense.
Because
have we invented a style of food? Like, I want to know, is Taco Bell the only true American food?
I want to know if there's American food restaurants as a novelty in other countries.
That's all. I gotta know. I'm
really
sorry I'm on this
that.
again, but like...
I'm sorry. No, I know. I'm thinking about it a lot.
We have so many different types of food that you can obviously tell it was inspired by a foreign... I guess you can call it a foreign food. Is there really such thing as foreign in America? We all came from somewhere else anyway, didn't we?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, does it...
Like, we came here, there was Native Americans, now it was technically Europeans.
I don't know.
We all came from somewhere, and because we're such a new country and it was imperialized or whatever.
Well, and then we added... I think that okay, then let's think about that. Even regional cuisine that is from the old world was at one time made new, and they probably built upon something. Like, some cavemen's, like, just eating...
Yeah, we gotta talk about the caveman.
Yeah, like, they were maybe eating, like, a dino...
mammoths.
Yeah,
people did eat mammoths. I wonder what that tasted like, because now, unfortunately, we'll never get to taste it until they Jurassic Park up some mammoths.
They're doing that. So we'll
Good, I want to try some mammoth
we're going to eat it.
It's definitely not going to be the same, but...
Can you imagine the size of that roast?
When this happens, we're...
Mammoth barbecue.
And we'll probably put this on YouTube, I hope. Let's have a mammoth barbecue.
We got it.
Old school style let's make the biggest spit we possibly can make and make a giant bonfire and cook a mammoth.
How big it's going to have to be to roast
Let's make an old
sucker?
school caveman style fucking mammoth meal.
Are we going to have... What do we have for desserts? Huckleberries?
How about the blood of our enemy tribe?
Blood sauce? Blood pudding.
Oh, wait, I don't know if the neighbors would like that.
Blood pudding.
They'd be the main course of dessert.
No, that's what... We got to flavor it with berries. I'm pretty sure they ate berries.
Of course they ate berries. But was it dessert back then? Or was that like I am out hunting and need something to eat, I need to eat some berries?
Well,
where did dessert come from? Is that like because of rich people?
I feel like dessert is definitely a European thing because
is that a lavish thing? One second.
Open.
Speaking of food.
Yummy. Okay. So
normally I would never do that on a podcast because it seems rude. But you know what?
It's podcast.
We're talking about food, and I have this is a cherry vanilla Coca-Cola. It's amazing. Yeah. We're not sponsored.
No, we're not.
I don't care to be sponsored, but I do have to tell you that it's a pretty good flavored soda.
That's cool because I don't... there is a food I don't really like. I don't really like sugary sweet pop. I've never even liked it when I was a kid. You know how all kids are like, I want a soda.
It's not sugar. It's high fructose corn syrup. Technically sugar, but yeah.
I think it's genetic because my mom also doesn't like pop. I love carbonated beverages like seltzer water and stuff, but I've never really liked soda. I'll drink it. Like once in a while, but no, I just don't like it that much.
That's interesting.
I've never...
Have you ever had like the... They call them like spritzers or whatever, where it's not really like a soda. It's not like a Coca-Cola, but it's like
flavored
water. Just carbonated water with
I love those.
Some kind of a flavor in it.
As long as there's no sugar in it. I just don't like sweetened carbonated water. I've never been a big fan of it. I didn't like juice or a lot of that stuff when I was a kid.
I don't drink it nearly as much. I used to live on the damn stuff, and I don't know. I just stopped.
Well,
I have it rarely. Like this is a treat for me having this soda, guys. I don't drink soda anymore, and I should recommend that to everybody because it's like soda's really unhealthy for you.
Well, and
I used to make my own soda though. I would go and you know those stupid flavor syrups you get that they have at the coffee shops, but you can get them at like Costco.
Yeah.
I used to take that and just add it to carbonated water.
So like an Italian soda.
Basically, I used to make Italian sodas. They were pretty expensive though. But because you have to use the cream and stuff,
You
and you
need
have
to
to buy
go
all
to
these
the
things.
restaurant supply store.
Yeah.
They have an
Yeah,
entire
they have
aisle of all the flavors. Because
Yeah.
I go there and get... Because I do
Those are good.
they make a kind without sugar, but without Splenda too. It's got erythritol in it, and I put it in my coffee.
Ooh.
It's caramel, and it's not bad for you because it's a sugar alcohol.
That sounds good.
I put that in my coffee, and I quite like that. But as far as... I'm just not a big sugar syrup drinker. But I don't hate it. I just don't really like it.
I used to make it with those syrups, and those are too sugary for me too, because they're almost pure sugar. Because it's just flavoring with like some kind of corn syrup, pretty much.
And flavoring.
And flavoring.
Yeah.
But then when I started making my own e-cigarette juice,
Oh, okay. I've heard about that.
I found a good source of like the natural flavorings that you would add to your e-cig juice. Because for those of you that don't know, I have to go on a little bit of a rant about the e-cig juice because there's a lot of misconceptions about it. It's just vegetable glycerin, a food product. It's propylene glycol, a food product / additive for like all of the products you would use on your body anyway.
You eat a lot of propylene glycol every day if you are alive in the 21st century.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these are 2 food products. You have natural or artificial flavorings, whatever you choose to use, and nicotine. Those are the ingredients in most e-cig juice, especially if you're making it on your own. I don't know what China puts in theirs. I don't recommend ever buying anything like that from China.
Ew.
Because they probably do add other stuff to it. But for the most part, it's just propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin. Those are 2 things in most foods that we eat that are processed foods. And then you have flavorings and nicotine. Those are the only things. But anyway, making that, I had, access to pretty good deals on the natural flavoring. So I just started adding that to carbonated water, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, I like naturally flavored. My favorite
Very healthier alternative to soda.
I bought my grandma one of these pitchers that has an infusion tube in the middle, and my favorite thing to do is just throw like limes or oranges in that and infuse the water that way. I really like infused water. I love lemon water. I guess I like that kind of stuff. I've never been, because I don't eat a lot of cold cereal, I guess. That's another thing I don't
Cold
really,
cereal?
I've never
You
really
don't
liked.
cold cereal? Even
never
like
been-
honey bunches of oats?
Nope.
Like what I call the boomer cereal.
Boomers.
Because when I was a kid, that's what we called it.
It's totally like a
Raisin
Middle
Bran.
East
Like
person.
they'd give you a Raisin
Grape
Bran. Like,
nuts.
I don't want freaking Raisin Bran. Where's my Captain Crunch, motherfucker?
Or plain Cheerios. Who likes plain Cheerios?
I do now. I don't know why.
Because you got older.
It might be because
He's becoming an old person.
either I'm becoming an old person, or I worked in a feed mill and I would snack on the oats.
Well, I
just
love
straight
the
up.
smell of oats. I love oats.
I probably shouldn't be admitting this. It doesn't matter, but
They're food. They're food
I worked
grade.
at this feed mill, and you get a little bit hungry.
You were like
And
a
I may or
pony.
may not have kind of smoked weed every once in a while, and
Oh my god.
so you'd have the munchies or whatever.
Get him in
And we had all these just raw grains sitting there. So when we were
not?
like steamrolling the barley, I would take big handfuls of it and eat it. We all would.
Oh, I
Steamrolled barley is amazing
love
right
the-
off the roller, guys. Come on.
The rolled corn out of the cob with a little bit of molasses.
That
The
was
rolled
good.
corn
Yeah,
is good.
rolled corn was the best.
I love
Or we'd
the
have
rolled corn.
every once in a while,
I
like
worked at a feed store.
somehow a pea would make it into like the corn silo, and like
you guys would
get
just-
rolled. Steamrolled peas are pretty good.
I love.
But we would
peas.
snack on the oats all the time
Well, I love
because they had to
oats.
be you had to dehusk them or whatever the hell it's called. I
Every
can't remember.
once in a while, I would love a bowl of Lucky Charms. Isn't that weird? Like that's one of the I do. And I
Lucky
do make.
Charms is okay.
You know what we make for
It's like
Christmas
the
in my
cardboard of
family?
cereal, though.
No, I know, but it's just. But since I don't eat it, it's magical for me.
Yeah.
I make a Captain Crunch French toast every year for Christmas, and it's pretty legendary.
Yeah.
And people think it would be too sweet. It's really not. It's really good. And I use crunch berries, which we discovered one year is even better because you grind it up real fine and you dip the bread. And you got to use Texas toast.
Oh my god.
One
That
time
sounds so good.
I made a brioche that had 40 steps for this, and it was a braided brioche. And then I made the
Holy
Captain.
cow.
It took me 2 days to make this bread. It's a legendary bread. But then you grind the Captain Crunch up, so you do like a whipping cream, egg, vanilla. And I use real vanilla, not the propylene glycol kind, even though I'd use that too. And then and a little cinnamon, and you dip it in there, and then you dip it in the Captain Crunch, and then you grill it like French toast. It is just I can't even. You got to try
That
it.
sounds amazing.
Captain Crunch French
You
toast.
guys, I hope your mouths are watering.
Oh, I love
Also,
Captain Crunch French toast.
we're gonna get your mouth watering this whole episode, and at the end, we're gonna just talk about completely disgusting foods, just to mess with you guys.
Yeah, we're doing the fun foods right now.
We'll probably not remember to do that, but anyway, just be prepared, just in case we decide to mess with you.
Okay, favorite dessert. Go.
You can't just throw that on me and expect me to answer right away. There's so many, all of them.
Well, I know that, but like I'm
All
known
of
as the
them?
cake lady, so my favorite cake that I make.
I've started to like cake less and less as I got older.
That's because the
I
cake
don't know
from the
what it is.
store and stuff is gross.
Even homemade cake is. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. Cake is good. I've just not.
I
I
don't
don't
want
like
it
it
all
as
the
much
time.
as when I was like 12. And, oh my god, cake! We're having cake. No,
Cake!
not anymore. Tiramisu
Oh, you know
used
that,
to be my favorite.
Really?
I haven't had it in a long time. I bet now it's too sweet.
Do you know I've never had tiramisu? I've
It's
ate a
so
lot of
good.
food, but
It's
I've never had
really
tiramisu.
rich. Costco. For whatever reason, whatever you put in your tiramisu, my God, it's amazing.
Do you think they put crack in there?
I used to eat the whole box, man. It was probably
Do you
not
know
good for
they
me.
had
I'm
a
probably gonna die
a
early.
death by chocolate cake at Costco? That back when I ate sugar a lot, that cake.
That sounds good.
That cake was good. I make a German
flavored
chocolate
dessert is
cake
hard,
that
though.
is because I don't like a lot of sweets, but the German chocolate cake that I make is pretty legendarily good. It has a frosting I have to stir for 12 minutes.
Oh man.
I mean, I haven't made that for you guys yet,
That
but
sounds
my
good.
boss I
German
make
chocolate
it for.
cake's pretty good.
Well, because I hate dry cake. Whoever, like in America, there's a
Yeah.
huge problem. We have an epidemic.
Stop making dry cake. Nobody likes it.
It's so gross. And then putting 6 freaking pounds of frosting
You guys
on there.
fool us. This perfect looking cake that it's super processed and looks amazing, and then you eat it's so dry.
It
No.
tastes like sawdust that got
Stop
wiped up
it.
somebody's butt. It's yucky.
Stop it. The moister the cake to me, the better. I don't
Yeah.
care who you are. Moist cake is the most appetizing cake.
Yep. And honestly, one of my favorite kind of cakes, which is not even a cake, is cheesecake. I love me
The
some
moistest of the cakes.
And it doesn't need to be overly sweet. Like, that is something in our culture that I wish would change.
Some people make it way too sweet.
Oh, it's so cloying. I want it to be like...
I want it to be more cheesy than sweet.
Yes, like, and I want to use
Because those
mascarpone.
flavors are just great together. The cheese with the cake.
Oh, I love cheesecake.
Cream
And
cheese. I just love cream cheese, period.
I want to start using mascarpone in... Did I say it right? Mascarpone. You got to say it
Mascarpone.
right or they'll get mad at you. And I don't want Gordon Ramsay to call me a donkey. Not that he would even know who I am.
You donkey!
You donkey!
You sound like Shrek.
Yes,
That's
it's okay.
not Gordon Ramsay.
It's okay. It's close.
Hey, Gordon! Shout out to Gordon Ramsay. Can you yell at us on our comment section?
I would love.
I don't know if you'll ever hear this episode, but please.
Well, and
If
I
you
would
do,
love
somebody
to eat
tell
some of your
Gordon Ramsay.
food.
If anybody out there knows Gordon Ramsay or has a way to contact him, can you tell him to like insult us about this episode, please? That would be amazing.
We love to be insulted. Not really, but we sort of do. Being insulted by Gordon Ramsay though is like getting a compliment.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're okay.
Ironically.
With that. We're okay with that. We're going to Flavortown. So
That's going to be the episode title.
Flavortown.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I love cooking shows. I don't watch a lot of TV, but I love to watch me a good cooking show. Like,
It's so good.
oh, you get into it,
What is
right?
it with- I grew up on, my grandma was addicted to Food Network, man.
Was she really?
She all day. So I'd get home from school and she'd be there fucking watching Food Network, and so I would be stuck watching Food Network. Like Rachel Ray, man, I learned a lot from her.
Oh, I like Chopped.
Because she was always on. She just got
learned-
huge for whatever reason on the
Yeah,
cooking
she
channel,
did.
man, on Food Network. And man, Rachel Ray, man, she was on almost every freaking show.
My favorite
At some point.
Food Network show is Chopped. I like
Chopped is
taking
really good, yeah,
the
yeah.
most obscure weird. I've got a donkey tongue and some gravel, and I'm gonna make an appetizer with that. It's so cool.
So-
Did you ever watch Iron Chef?
Iron Chef was pretty cool, yeah.
The thing about Iron Chef is it was so dramatic. Like it was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the soap
yeah.
opera of cooking
It was,
shows.
yeah. That was their reality show.
Of la cuisine.
That
And
was the cooking
that's
channel's reality
a Japanese
show.
guy
yeah.
yelling in French is kind of also my favorite thing. I'm not gonna lie. Oh God, yeah. So
Food
Food
Network's
Network. I love
awesome.
watching cooking, and I learned a lot on Food Network.
You do learn a lot,
Yeah,
amazingly.
I don't. Well, and then like right now, it is the Great British Baking Show or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody on
I've
the
never
planet.
watched it.
I haven't either, but everybody. Okay, I work at the library.
There's only really so many ways to make cake. How can it be that entertaining to be like all over the TV all the time?
I don't know, but
It's
there's
cake.
been everything
Donuts
from
and cupcakes,
Cupcake
they're
Wars.
basically all the same.
Well, I bake a lot though, and it is amazing
Yeah.
the variations you can come up with.
Yeah, but it's like, it's really all the same.
I think people watch it for the
Maybe
drama.
I'm just closed-minded on there. It's always the drama.
I think it's the drama.
Why do you watch TV if not for drama?
Well, it's true. I mean, it makes you... Also, I think there's that when it cooking shows is that it's sort of attainable. I feel like you could cook that if you had the right equipment and stuff.
For sure.
Because some of the stuff
For
they
sure.
cook, I'm not going to go out and get some Wagyu. I'll just go out to my freezer and get... I have some really nice sirloin in there.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then there's some waste in cooking shows. Like, especially on the Gordon Ramsay shows... When they have to throw away, like, what is that, beef Wellington? A little part of me dies inside.
I know.
Because I know how much stuff costs to produce, and then to see a whole thing of scallops get thrown in the garbage, it makes me want to rip someone's head off.
Oh, the other thing with that is, like, it's TV.
It's
So
true.
they have made mistakes and had to redo stuff. How much food did they waste if they make a little bit of mistake? Let's say they film a scene like they had to do it 10 times. Like this one. Okay, what I'm referring to is this video where Gordon Ramsay is like perfectly filleting this fish in
Yes.
like record speed. I know for a fact that he didn't do that on the first take, especially with how perfect he did it. It probably took I would, if I had to guess, 10, 15 takes. And even if he did it perfect the first time, they still have to film it 10, 15 times. That's just how TV works.
I want to watch.
How much fish did they waste doing that?
Well, and then maybe that's a thing. I want to watch a show about the food waste, like being turned into food. Because British people, I think you eat fish paste, right? I've never eaten it, but I think it's a thing. Like fish paste, like they have sandwich.
I've heard of it.
Well, and it's like so.
Ugh. Well, that's what our canned tuna pretty much is.
It's pretty much paste, yeah. Well, I like tuna.
It's not bad. I like fish.
I like it in the pouches better than the cans, I've discovered. Have you ever had the tuna in the pouches?
Is it better?
It's really good, and it smells
better.
good, too. Like, they have all these different flavors of it, not with mayonnaise. I'm just talking about, like, they'll have a garlic lemon one and stuff, and you crack it open, and it smells like the ocean instead of nastiness. You should try it. I don't know. I like that.
Could be something about the can. Or maybe that line. You know how when we make an aluminum can to put food in, they have to line it with this chemical.
Yes, and they've changed the chemical because
to
the
prevent
one was bad.
the metal from deteriorating
because
into
it made
food.
people grow boobs.
Yeah.
Well, I always think of phytoestrogens or synthetic estrogens. It's going to make boys grow boobs, and if anytime boys grow boobs, apparently that's a bad thing, and they'll change it.
Conspiracy time.
I love
Conspiracy time.
We got to put a soundbite here somewhere.
So, yeah, Illuminati. I gotta dig out that soundbite. Anyway, it was probably some stand-up comedy I heard or something, but something gave me the idea of like, why are like boys becoming way more feminine and girls are developing, their pubescentness, I guess, earlier.
Yeah.
So like, okay, sorry to say this, but like little girls are getting tits at an earlier age, and stuff like that. And they were trying to figure this out, where it's like, they found a bunch of these food additives they were using were part of that, and like you were just saying. And in certain municipal water supplies, they realized they were not taking the estrogen out of the recycled sewage water. There was no way to do it.
Yeah, estrogen's something.
And I may be wrong on that, but this is definitely what I heard. I think it was on definitely like a 2020 episode or one of those primetime scare your fucking grandma shows.
I feel sad that I missed this. I'm not gonna lie.
I gotta find that. I gotta figure out where that was from.
If you add the cocktail of therapeutic,
it could have even been Alex Jones for all I know. I don't know.
It could have. Well, and if you add the cocktail of therapeutic antibiotics, which we do that to our animals, any meat product you eat has a very huge dose of they call it therapeutic antibiotics, and what that means is they're just feeding them to the animals whether they need them or not because they gain more weight. So think about that. You're gonna eat that, then you get the estrogen, so you're gonna get a big ass and that look at our people.
And I personally don't test my water supply in the city I live in. It makes me. I've always wondered, what can't they get out of the water supply? What are they not testing for? What are the allowances they have on what does stay in the water supply?
It kind of is creepy if you think about it.
Because you know how the FDA is.
Well, I'm very happy to have a well right now.
How many pieces of cockroach do they allow in the General Mills cereal? That you know what I mean? There's going to be it. That happens with vegetables, for instance. You can't get rid of all the little eggs of insects and larvae and stuff that are in like with strawberries. Like they found all these. It's a famous TikTok thing right now, or it might have been 2 weeks ago, so it's probably irrelevant completely forever now.
But like being old.
But like, there's this big TikTok trend that was like these people let their strawberries. What was it in like the salt water? I don't know what happened, but there was all these larvae coming out of the strawberries.
Yeah, but any food
and
product
the FDA allows that, and that's okay. But it's like it's not going to hurt you. It's just insects. Just protein,
your body will digest it.
Yeah.
There's
that's bigger things to worry about, but like straight up, they have allowances for what kind of contaminants are left in the food that they process.
I'm thinking about.
There's no way to ever get it out in the first place anyway. You know what I mean? It's like I'm not demonizing the food industry. You can't account for every little thing.
When you raise something on that massive of a scale, I know I'm thinking about rat soup now and the peanut butter. Well, and that's why I'm a firm believer in. Yeah. As much as possible eating whole food. Like, food you prepare yourself, you'll be healthier. I'm not saying don't eat any processed food because, my goodness, everybody once in a while is going to want a frozen pizza. I don't care who you are.
It's good.
Well, and
Totino's, man.
Oh, God, the fake cheese.
So good. What is it about Totino's, man?
But at 99... They
food scientists.
Cocaine in the cheese.
Yeah.
99... I'm not saying you guys do that, but it is kind of addictive. Yeah. I'm just saying 90% of the time, 80% of the time, make your own food that's real food. Like you said, the broccoli. I do that to asparagus, too. And when it's in season, eat seasonal food. Like right now...
I don't know where the broccoli... Here's the problem, though. I don't know where the broccoli was grown.
Well, grow it yourself.
I don't have a garden.
You could. It is a lot of time consuming.
You guys, though, I think that's a big problem in America, though. It's like... First of all, time is a very limited resource anymore, especially anybody who works at a job.
It is true.
So, I mean, I technically do have the time to garden. I just don't want to. It is way easier just to go buy my broccoli at the store. Somebody else put the time and effort into growing it and putting a little sticker on it and putting it in the store and shipping it and all that shit. and it's pretty cheap. Somehow, through all those processes and paying all those employees, it's
pretty
cheap.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot, but I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. It's awesome to go grow your own food, but like, not everybody has time for it. Not everybody even has a yard to grow it in or a garden. Those community gardens are awesome, by the way.
I
support
community
gardens more than anything. Like, that's an amazing thing that people do.
I wish community
We
would
need
come
more.
work in my garden. I could use the labor, and I would give you pumpkins. I would. I was just thinking that right now we're coming into that great season.
Come do lots of hard labor for me, and I'll pay you in pumpkins.
I will pay you in pumpkins. Well, I was thinking it's almost that, what is that, upper middle class lady season where it's pumpkin spice season. It's coming. It's coming.
Hallelujah.
Yep, it's coming. Well, because
Who doesn't like the pumpkin spice stuff?
I make my
I'm
own.
sure there's a lot of people that don't like
I
pumpkin
make my
spice
own
stuff.
pumpkin spice when I make pumpkin
And then you have the
things.
contrarians that, like, no, because only it's so popular, it's a hipster thing. Or you know what I mean? How people are?
How about
They're
you just like something because
it's
you like
popular, so I don't like pumpkin spice.
it? Oh, I forgot. You have to be more cool than other people.
Yeah.
That's not an insecurity at all.
Yeah.
I like pumpkin spice. You know, it's funny. I only like that kind of stuff typically in the fall.
It's delicious.
It's like a harvest thing for me. I make my own pumpkin pie
I
spice.
always wondered why pumpkin spice was always just a seasonal thing when it's all artificial flavoring anyway.
Yeah, they don't even.
Is that just to capitalize on the hype?
Because it's mainly cinnamon, ginger,
Creates
nutmeg, and
scarcity.
allspice
Yeah.
is what it's. And
Ooh,
I
allspice.
I know the allspice is what gives it that special kick.
Nutmeg.
But like I've got about 50 pumpkins out there, maybe a little more, and I'm getting ready to go into pumpkin mode because that's what happens about September, October. Yeah, we had a pumpkin cake recently for your wife's birthday,
Yes.
and now that was a good
That
cake.
was a really good cake.
But it was because it wasn't dry.
Yes.
And also,
Obviously.
I like. Well, there is something to be said. Homegrown food. Like I used to think, oh come on, it can't be that much different. Get a potato from the
is.
store and go dig
Absolutely.
one out of my dirt out there. There's a massive taste and textural difference. Now I'm not saying the conventionally grown one, is bad for you.
It could even be the soil.
I don't know. Well,
What is it?
food loses.
Will we ever figure that out? What it really is? Is it the energy? I'm gonna sound all Duncan Trussell-y here.
No, I think so.
But is it like the energy that goes from it because of
I talked
like
to my
if it's
garden
mass
plant.
produced, it's just not cared about as much, or like you know what I mean, like on a weird little like metaphysical level.
I think that
Is
that
there
could
that
play-
kind of thing going on?
Well,
I've
and
always
also-
wondered a little bit, and I'm a pretty big skeptic on like woo woo.
You're a woo
But
woo
like,
skeptic.
but like, there's this theory that like when you're cooking food, there's an energy you put in it. So like if you're in a bad mood and you cook even the best of food, it's gonna taste like crap.
So burnt broccoli syndrome.
Yeah, what is that? What it's called? I don't know.
I just want a woo woo skeptic T-shirt. We
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to
yeah.
have one of those.
I've always been
Okay.
skeptical about woo woo, but like there's this theory that your energy goes into your food, and I've always wondered if there's any kind of credence to that.
I'm
if
kind
there's-
of
if there's any
curious
truth to
about that. I want to know. Is there a woo
And is
wooologist
that
out there? And
what's
I'm not
going
being
on?
a smart aleck. I would
Yeah,
like to know
woo-woologist.
a wooologist. I want to know about that because I put a lot of love and time into growing my food, and the food is good.
Does it make a difference? Is my question. Like,
But-
is there even any way to study that?
But things lose nutritional value as they sit, and think about how long
That's
the
true.
food has been picked by the time it gets to you.
You never know.
And also, most
Oh, you know
conventional
what's
food
weird?
is
You know what's-
nitrogen and
you know what's
water
weird?
rich. Huh?
Is like Idaho is notorious as the potato state. We're not really the potato state. We're the gem state, right?
Yeah. And
But
also,
everybody calls it the potato state because apparently we export a lot of potatoes.
we grow
I don't know.
a lot of
I don't know what the
potatoes
deal is that. Apparently we import a lot of potatoes
from Washington,
from Washington, which is known more for their apples.
but they grow a lot
but
of potatoes.
even though Washington is our neighbors, those potatoes first go to the other side of the country, and then they go to a different state, and then they eventually make it back to Idaho, which is our right next door.
What makes
So
me-
there's
yes,
this weird,
yes.
unnecessary time gap of shipping. It's just like when you order something from Amazon, right? And it's, let's say you're in California and you're ordering something from Florida, and it goes up to Washington, and then they ship it back to New York, and then it goes to Kansas, and then it finally makes it to your fucking front door after a week, even though you have Amazon Prime 2-day shipping, and
Do
you
you
get all
think
pissed.
the logistics people just like to draw patterns on the computer?
I
They're
always
like,
wondered that.
Like, it'd be fun to know, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it seems to be no logic in logistics,
I'm gonna draw
especially
a
in the food
pentagram
industry.
with Brady's package.
Yeah.
Like,
Here's where I have to digress there.
okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
One of the biggest dream jobs in America for this should be for everybody is that guy that gets to draw the yellow lines on the football games. How many times have you seen it where they draw a dick and you know they drew a dick on purpose?
On purpose,
But
yeah.
they even have a commentation to why they drew the dick, but it's clearly a dick
It's so funny.
or tits.
They're just
but
like
they-
here and here and then here and here. I'm drawing boobies.
How
Sorry,
would
but
you
it's
like that job?
it was
That's your
so
job,
good.
is to draw
It'd be so
draw
good.
yellow dicks on a football game that millions of people are watching.
You know, and then you gotta give props to the commentators because they don't start busting up laughing. Me,
yeah,
I'd be
they
like, I don't know how we got to that.
I would love that job.
Let's
because
talk
you were
about
talking
melons.
about
Let's
talking
talk
about
melons
logistics.
now. Logistics. We're gonna go
Yeah,
back
melons.
to food. We're going to melons now. Favorite.
Is that because of boobs?
I don't know.
Why do
I
they
would
call them
never.
melons?
Why are they melons?
Only fake boobs look like cantaloupes.
That's true. They probably float in a pool too.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta see if melons float now. I'm sure.
I mean, in my mind, they do.
I've never tried it. Now I want to
Have you
go
ever
throw a
seen a melon in
cantaloupe in a
water?
hot tub and see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Back. Sorry. This episode.
what we were talking about was the logistics of food, and it drove me down a tangent again. But,
well, that's what we're all about.
But logistics of food seems a little weird to me. How something has to travel cross country to go to a neighboring state.
How about
or
across the world?
Yeah.
Cantaloupes. I don't buy cantaloupes in the winter because they come from across the entire ocean. And
we grow cantaloupes here. Why can't we have our first dibs on our cantaloupes?
But you eat them in season. Like in the summer, all of our cantaloupes come from California. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that because that is relatively close to us. But it's like you said, the tastelessness. I've been getting some pretty decent melons lately, and a lot of them come from Oregon and Washington, which I guess in the scope of things is pretty close to us. Mm-hmm. But then again, I also want to help farmers across the world too. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Logistics of food is fascinating. I'd like to watch a show on that.
The logistics of farming in general is insane.
Oh yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Farming Simulator on the PlayStation 4. And for those of you that don't know, it's technically the most boring game in the entire universe. I have no idea. Well, I don't know. Goat Simulator might be close.
There's a
close
goat
tie to that.
simulator. What does it do? Eat and poop?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine.
What the hell is a goat simulator?
I don't even think there's a goat in the game.
Is that like the goose
I'm sure
game
there is,
where
I'm
the
just
goose
joking.
wreaks havoc? Because that game
Yeah, but that
kinda
game has
cool.
fun.
That
That's
looked
kind of
fun.
like a fun little twist. But with Farming Simulator, it's so boring. But like, it has taught me a lot about farming. Okay. I don't know why. My escapism is to be Farming Simulator. Like, who really does want to farm digitally? Like, I don't understand if I was out actually working on a farm. But like, you drive these tractors around, they're so slow, and you actually have to do all this stuff. But anyway, my point is, I've learned a lot about farming, and it's like such a crazy industry, such a low profit margin even.
Yeah, it's
like
really
for the
hard.
most part, it really is.
And
like
people,
it's hard to get ahead of that
they
game.
either demonize or idolize farmers, and you know what, farmers, we're regular people, and we have farming has this huge element that you can't control it. Like, you don't know if this year's going to be a good year for this crop and then a bad year for the other crop. You don't know if something's going to come in and kill stuff. It's so hard.
We can't talk about that without talking about like all the tribes that were like, they thought there was these gods controlling
fertility
everything.
Gods,
so they had to like sacrifice to the gods in order to have the crops grow, and really it was just weather. Oh. They just didn't understand weather.
They're like, let's chop Jerome's head off.
Yeah.
You think you got rid of annoying people too? Like, think about being a leader of a tribe, because humans haven't changed. We're still humans. We just have more knowledge now.
Of course they got rid of the deplorable.
They're like, look at the deplorable. You know, that guy over there, he's really just driving me nuts. Let's make a sacrifice to the fertility goddess Lablani.
It is the chief's decree. I don't know, I'm speaking in Old English, but
it's the chief's decree.
Because definitely Old England sacrificed people, I don't know.
Oh yeah, let's spill his blood and then we'll get some good corn.
You know though, tinfoil hat again, okay? But in a joking way, okay? The Illuminati or whatever, the shadow government. Do we get our crops because they're still in the shadows, sacrificing humans for the gods to be pleased to give us our crops? Have you ever wondered that? Have you ever thought about that?
Is that where all the missing people are?
Yeah,
because
you never know.
There's a problem
Maybe
with missing people right now.
Maybe.
We gotta get control.
How many of those missing
Illuminati.
people are virgins? We need to look into this.
Oh God! And I'm not being flippant about missing people either. That seems to be a problem right now, and I think it's always a problem. I think people are just now looking at it.
Okay, tabloid time.
Okay.
Are the majority of missing cases in America, at least, the result of Illuminati human sacrifice?
It can't possibly be quantified because we can't even prove that they are even acting right now. So it's going to stay a conspiracy.
Dear Illuminati, will you please let us know? We will not tell anybody.
No, we won't.
Wink, wink. But seriously though, have you ever wondered like if there's still some kind of woo going on to control the weather?
I always thought it was
something
what I mean?
like rain dances. Like,
we need
are there
to talk.
People still doing rain dances to make sure we still get rain?
I'm kind of gonna put out a request to the woo-ologists out there. Is there something like that? I want to know.
I have to know now. Like, you never know. I think about this all the time, just as a joke. But like, really, like, do we have to do these rituals still? And we're, as a normal society, we're not doing it, but there's these people kind of in the shadow government that are still doing these rituals to make sure like the normal cycles of the earth still happen because there really is gods out there controlling everything.
Well, do you think about, with climate change and all that stuff,
Nibiru
that
or
they
whatever.
think that we can actually control it via science? Is that basically the same thing, just on more an advanced civilization scale? That, if we put enough aluminum particulate matter in the sky, that we can reflect sunlight, and then we can have more rain and less warming. Is that not dancing? Just a newer version of it?
Yeah, because realistically, that's kind of what all that mystic stuff kind of evolved into, was the actual sciences.
Yeah, well, because that was way we could explain
you know
it
what
without
I think
knowing.
is like some of the earliest form of sciences was to kind of figure out what all this mystical shit was that
make
everybody
sense.
was believing in way back, when like organized civilizations were first starting,
Well,
like the
kind of-
Sumerians and stuff.
Yeah.
The Sumerians had a lot of actual science, but I think it was because they were testing different mystical theories, like why does it rain every month? Is
You
it
have
the rain
urea
dance,
in your urine, so
know
if you
what I
pee
mean?
near a plant, it's going to grow better.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
that.
they figured that stuff out.
So, like, chopping someone's throat and letting the blood leak on the ground, there might, especially if that person has some weird genetic variant, there might have been stuff that they observed about all of these things, and then they just came up with rituals to perpetuate
just more and more knowledge over time, and then you have the time when they started writing it down, and that really helped a lot of things because then it was passed on.
What do we do now to get rid of the Steves, though? Like, they well, no, I mean, like,
Sorry.
it's just, I can just see some chieftain being like, oh god, that guy is so annoying. You know what? It's been
Yeah.
dry for a while.
Yeah.
I know they did it.
Like the
I
king
know
has,
they did it.
like the king has like the one peasant friend, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man, my fucking neighbor, God, he's a real asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's always banging on his goddamn drum at night.
Let's
Can
throw
we get rid of him?
that witch Enrica into the volcano. I'm tired of her shit. That's like, they did
Well,
that.
that's what the witch hunts were, right? Like, oh, man, that
rid
Susie
of-
lady, she's real weird.
They
Like,
got rid of the intelligent
she must be a
women.
demon.
Yeah, she.
fucking burn her.
It'll kill two birds with one stone. We get rid of this annoying woman, and we have more power in the community. Win-win. We still do that stuff. It's just in a different way now. We burn people on social media.
That's true, yeah. But anyway, I can't
Back to
remember what
we
were
were
talking
we were
about
supposed to
before.
be on logistics of food, but now we're back on food. Period. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
were we gonna go to gross food, like the grossest food, or are we gonna continue?
Looks like we're about at... Yeah, we should probably end on the gross foods. We're about at an hour.
Okay,
I
grossest
don't see
food.
us doing a two-parter on this one.
I'm trying to think.
We could. I mean, really, we could do like 10 parts on food. Food is such a vast subject. Like, I don't think we covered...
I can end with an
some of the stuff we
anecdote of
wanted
the
to cover,
grossest
but-
thing I've ever seen people eat, and I have a two-parter on this one.
Okay, yeah. I'll let you take over this one. I don't know that many gross foods off the top of my
I
head.
do. My uncle's a bit of a heathen, and when I was little, he liked to eat lots of things. And one day he was cooking what I thought was sausage. And he comes in, he's like, sis, you want some sausage? And I said, sure. And I pop a bit of it in my mouth, and I'm chewing. And I think I'm about 6 at the time. And he's like, well, how is that for you? And I said, it's a little bit chewy, Unc. He's like, that's because it's testes. And so he had fed me bull testicles.
Oh.
But my uncle, so I just had to give you some context, same uncle. A few years later, so I'm a teenager now, his daughters had a rat. And my uncle is a castration specialist. And he
Oh.
castrated the rat right there and ate them raw.
Ooh!
So I feel like that is probably the
That's-
grossest
ooh.
thing that I've ever seen anybody eat. My mom's adopted.
Oh, man, have you ever...
Yeah, raw testicles.
I love the scene in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
The monkey
where
brains?
they're eating all those gross foods, but
Monkey
it's like
brains.
realistically, like some of those, it seems gross. A lot of foods have seemed gross and then are ended up being really
I
delicious.
can't
So
say
maybe
that-
rat testes don't taste that bad.
I can't say okay, the bull testicles tasted like chewy sausage. So
Yeah,
it wasn't like the grossest thing I've ever eaten.
Yeah, and, God, Montana, I tell you what, they eat some weird stuff.
They have a
They
testicle
also like the
festival.
testicle. Yeah, they do. That's not a
I've
joke.
been to it.
But like, just going. I've never seen this in a gas station anywhere. But when I was in Montana, they have like chicken giblets or whatever the.
Oh,
fuck it's called.
gizzards.
Gizzards.
Gizzards. My grandma loves those.
Seems so gross, but they're so good.
They're chewy.
They're chewy.
They're
and
chewy.
They just taste like fucking deep fried meat. Like it's really no different. And then like people eat cow tongue. Have you ever had cow tongue?
I've had tongue.
What
I've
do
had
they
it.
call that? There's a Mexican word for that. It's a big thing in. That's like a big meat in Mexico. They
Well,
use.
they eat
But it's so
menudo as
good.
tripe, and that's
Tripe's pretty good.
innards. I've eaten
But
most.
cow tongue is really good. I was very skeptical. They had it at this
if
burrito
it's sliced
joint.
thin, it's pretty. It's how
Yeah, I
you
went to this
prepare
burrito
food.
joint and they had cow tongue burritos, and I was really skeptical. And oh man, it looks so weird.
Yeah.
But it's soft and succulent, and it tastes really good.
I'm a believer
it's
preparation
good.
is the difference between food being gross and food being good. Because I've ate some really
Absolutely.
weird food, and as long as it's prepared right, it tastes amazing.
And I mean, really, you can eat most parts of any animal, right?
Yeah, or just anything.
Like people like especially other animals, they eat the bones and you suck out the marrow and like
It's good for you.
eat everything.
Yeah.
Like, and then everything that you don't need, you're just gonna crap out anyway, right?
Well, and it's
But,
I just
yeah,
try to
there's some
think.
gross stuff out there.
There's some gross stuff.
But how gross is it really?
I don't want to eat sweetbreads. I'm not a big. I don't like to eat organs or things that think. Like sweetbreads, sweetmeats, they are the brain. To me, it smells.
Never had a brain.
It smells gross.
As far as I know.
It smells like, you know how you don't like mayonnaise?
Yeah.
When I smell a brain cavity, I don't really want to eat it. There's nothing about that makes me say, hey, I want to scramble that with my eggs, because that's a common dish, is to scramble the sweet.
There's something psychological about it.
Yeah, I don't want to eat that.
Brain, like.
And then eating livers and stuff like that, it's not really my thing. Anybody that's ever ate a commercial hot dog, you have ate organ meat. So
Yeah, I'm so sorry, vegans.
Well.
By the way, if there's any vegans listening, like, yeah. People eat meat.
Well,
that's
and
just the thing.
I respect vegans. I think it takes a lot to follow your principles, so I'll never bash one ever. Like,
yeah, I'm not trying to disrespect that.
but,
I am apologizing because we're talking about meat a lot. And but that's just the thing that they have to accept as well. Like, people eat meat.
Well, do you get
but
mad at lions?
Here's the thing, vegans. Here's the thing, okay? I do have to tell you, if you're a vegan listening to this, it's just important to something just to realize at least and accept is that everything you eat, in order for it to keep you alive, it has to have at once been alive, plants included.
And it has an energy.
Yes.
I
don't know if we absorb that energy. There might be some mystic woo-woo to that too, but like, there's everything you eat has to have been alive at one point. That's why I'm kind of weird about the synthesized meat, because I mean, if they're synthesizing it into...
If cells are dividing,
If cells are dividing, they
yeah.
create life, which the implications of that is a whole other topic.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that they can create cells that will divide, and that's life, so what can we go from there? We'll talk about that another time, because that's very interesting.
Yeah, we'll have a
But
life
like,
episode.
as far as the food goes, like... So they are creating these cells that replicate, correct?
Yes.
Technically, it's alive,
That's
but
what a
we
stem
still
cell
need
is.
that for whatever reason. We need to consume other biochemical substances to stay alive ourselves, because you are what you eat.
Well, and I'm very, very, very aware of something gave its life for me to continue living, and that's why I raise a lot of my own food, is because I love animals and I live with them every day, and they all do have their own personalities.
They
People
really
who
do.
say they
Yeah,
don't.
animals do, man.
And
They're living things, man. They got brains. They got lives. They react to different.
I hate the
stimulus
thought of
and-
millions of pigs stuck together and where they don't have very
it's
much
sad.
square footage.
It really
They're
is
such
sad.
smart animals.
Let's actually, you know what? Let's keep going a little bit. We can make the episode a little longer because this is
fine.
important. But like, factory farming, man.
We're not
It's
bashing
kinda
you. Let's
sad.
find a different way, though.
We gotta find it. There is different ways, and I think, you know what, we're a lot more conscious of it now as a society.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are against it.
Well, the Rona has made it where people who do smaller operations are actually doing really well right now because of the huge delays and supply problems.
Sure, yeah.
A lot of our local farmers,
I hope
they're
that helps.
8 to 12 weeks out of being able to even fill their orders. There's such a huge surge because people, they're going to them. So I'm hoping that things evolve a little bit in the food industry.
That would be nice.
I would love it if more people, if the government got out of the way,
Yes.
and we could
a big
actually
thing.
feed ourselves without having to rely on these huge industrial scale things. And I'm not saying they're bad because you know what, people
It's
have to
just the
eat.
way it happens. It's capitalism,
it's
guys.
the way- yeah.
It's literally a direct result of the market. Like, they saw a need, which is to feed millions of people, and those millions of people need to eat.
They do.
So what happened is, like, they had to come up with some kind of plan, right? So, like,
and the people
plus
that are,
they need profit to, operate. So,
well, you have to have
that's how it
incentive.
works.
Humans have to have
Nobody's
incentive.
going to just work for free.
If people care about this so much, I want to see what you're doing. I'm so tired of people complaining about stuff, and all they do is complain, and they're not doing anything. Like I had
see
an
that
ethical,
so much.
I had an ethical problem with the meat thing, so I grew my own.
Yeah.
Now I don't have the ethical problem.
Yeah.
Now it's completely on me if the animal has a bad day,
Or you just go vegan.
or you just go vegan.
No shame in that either. I don't really care.
I don't eat meat every day.
If you don't, I mean, to each their own.
I have some concerns.
But if you're going to complain about factory farming, either fix it through writing your legislators, or fix it through growing your own food, or fix it through
support a co-op of farmers, you
Support
can
a co-op of farmers.
There's a lot you can do.
Or go vegan, because that's a way to do it too. I mean,
Yeah, but even vegan, any kind of agriculture has a toll on the land.
I unfortunately I directly support the factory farming industry by buying that meat, because here's the problem, okay? In America, money is a
You need
limited
money,
resource. Yep. Time is a limited resource. Land is a limited resource. I just want to go to the grocery store, pick up my food, cook it. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a lot of work involved in growing your own food.
Oh, God.
And I don't want to go vegan because I love to freaking eat meat, and it's healthy for you, in my opinion. So I buy the factory farmed meat because that's the source of it at the store, and it's cheap.
Well, and honestly, Brady, I'm a little bit older than you too. It took me years of hard work, and I guess
Yeah.
It's not everybody wants to do this, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm completely understanding about that. And then not everybody has the wherewithal or the funds or the opportunity. And so it's like finding your own way that you can live a lifestyle that you are ethically okay with is a huge thing when it comes to food. Like, it really is.
Oh, for sure.
And so I hate it when people are judgmental and neggy about it. It's like, you are where you are right now. If you're trying to move forward and just figure things out, fine. Leave people alone. And
I agree.
I get so tired of this moral self-righteousness.
Cue the last episode.
Oh, I love that episode.
Again, I by the way, got to bring that up because
Rantastical?
It happened.
It totally
did. The thing that happened. Our last episode, I kind of went on a nice little rant.
There is nothing little about
it. If anyone has any disagreements with anything I ranted about, please, I want to interact with people. I want to have, some real freaking discussions. Part of the point of this whole podcast was to get people to talk to us so we can have nice discussions with the general population of people out there who decided that our podcast was worth their time.
Yes.
So please interact with us. Get on social media. We're on social media. I don't even care if you guys start fighting and being just toxic people, because we'll respond to that, and you'll directly contribute to one of the sections we want to add to the show eventually, which is about your crazy comments. So.
Well, and we feel like
So please,
we feel like all commentary is valid.
I want you guys to disagree with us, or if you agree, I want you to just talk to us about what you feel and what you think. And at this current state of the podcast, we don't have that many listeners, but if even a few of you guys would just start interacting with us, that would be really awesome, because that was kind of the whole point of this. I want to talk to people. I want to know if I'm wrong, because I'm out here with a microphone and you know what I mean, like,
we're both fairly open-minded about things.
We all of a sudden now have technically this platform where we can say whatever we want. And so if I'm wrong and I'm spewing a bunch of bullshit, correct me, present some evidence, and I want to hear it, because I'd love to change my mind on stuff.
Well, I feel like through discourse is how we learn as a species, and
yeah.
I'm not going to hate you if you disagree with me, and I think we need more of that in the world. Like,
yeah, exactly.
If you don't like what Brady or I is saying, fine, that's cool. And then, you know what, we still might have an agreement on something else, and that's all right. Don't let people, I think a big thing of us is we should be able to talk about stuff without letting the powers that be divide us, because we don't fit in the same box together.
Exactly. And if you're a vegan listening to this, I'm sorry I'm calling you guys out a lot, but in this case I'm just saying, talk to us. If I offended you for whatever reason talking about stuff, talk to us. Just talk to us, everybody.
Well, and the
it's like I want to hear your story. I want to see if you're a vegan. I want to know why you're a vegan. Like, I want to know your story.
And I have vegan friends, and it's like,
Tell
I would make you a vegan. In fact, I made a vegan birthday cake for one of my friends, because if something matters to you and I care about you, it's gonna matter to me whether I agree with you or not.
It's kind of the popular thing to like bash on vegans for some reason, because people like to feel good about themselves. But I don't know. It's bullying.
Yeah.
It really, right down to the heart of it, it's bullying. I am not judging vegans at all whatsoever. Nope. I don't participate in that lifestyle personally.
Me either.
I may not even agree with a lot of like the thought behind it.
But to you, it may have.
But I don't judge. If that's how you think and that's how you operate in your life, cool. That's your freedom. Cool.
And I'm completely cool with it.
Especially because everybody has like a backstory to everything they do, right?
Well,
I want to hear your backstory. Why you're? To me, it's humanity, I guess, is very fascinating to me, so I want to hear that.
Well, one of my bosses worked at a Campbell's soup factory, a chicken noodle soup factory, and he was a lifelong vegetarian because of what he saw there.
Oh, I don't even want to know.
So that is, I completely understand about that. Or just that you are ethically against eating meat. Okay, that's fine.
Nothing wrong with that at all. How can you disagree with someone who thinks it's unethical? It's no problem.
And I feel that way about keto people, gluten-free people.
Even if I disagree, I understand where you're coming from.
Kosher, all of the ways that you can eat and ingest food, I am completely fine with it. If it's your own personal journey.
I'll be honest and lay out on the table again. Like I said, I am a meat eater, and I eat the fucking factory farmed meat and whatever. That's just the way I live my life. Well, you can judge me for it if you want. I don't. Nobody should judge each other. But if you're gonna judge me, you're gonna judge me. But I'm not judging anybody. Everybody has their own story for stuff.
Well, and you're all at different points in your journey.
But let's argue if you guys want. Let's argue.
I like that. Are we gonna leave this episode at argument?
We might. I don't know if I have much else to add to the food thing. There's a lot to talk about with food, but it's not always important.
I feel like we could probably do another episode on food at some point.
We probably will down the road a little bit.
This one was pretty fun, though.
I'm kind of a little bit hungry now that we've been talking about food for so long. But it's also like 1,000 degrees in the 1% of traders.
And we are going to have to kick on the air conditioner, and we can't record while we do that. So
yeah, we don't want to.
I think we're going to end this right here.
All right. So you guys, thanks for listening. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. As you know, we end every episode off with a positive news article.
This week's news article is awesome. Apparently, Kellogg's introduced Little Debbie oatmeal cream pie cereal, and it's supposed to taste just like it. And, you know, because snack cakes make the best breakfast, right?
Word.
Word.
Who doesn't love Little Debbie's? Wonderful news indeed. In fact, I just find it amazing that in a world full of COVID and Black Lives Matter and pedophile rings, that snack cakes is still big enough to make the news. Wonderful. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit that bell and check us out on social media.